Today I'll be speaking on the divides, religion, the divides of the African people. It has dawned on me that religion is what has brought division to the African people. Religion brought division to Africa, and it has held us back from truly civilizing. It has held us back from truly growing and becoming a prosperous nation, or a prosperous continent, to say. Now, there are two major things that has brought issues, that has brought division amongst humans in our world today. One is religion. The other one is our racial differences, which the African people can call it as tribal bigotries, ethnic bigotries. So these are the two main things that has brought issues in our today world. And majorly, the issues is uprising in the African continent today. Africa as a continent has endured this division for quite a long time, for thousands of years, because of religion and tribe differences. Christianity was first introduced to the African soil, I think in the year 1st century, which is 5th AD. Then Islam came in the year 7th AD. That was when it was introduced to the African people. Now, Christianity was first in existential in Ethiopia. Then the war that happened in the Islam religion happened in Saudi Arabia before Prophet Muhammad moved to Medina. Then from Medina, I think he went back to Saudi Arabia. Then from Saudi Arabia, he came back to Abyssinia, present-day Ethiopia. Do you understand? So Christianity was in existence already in Ethiopia before Prophet Muhammad, migrated to Ethiopia. Then they coexisted, in which Prophet Muhammad said that Islam, in its final pilgrimage, after the conquest of Quraysh family, the clan, when he went there for his last pilgrimage to Mecca and all of that, his acknowledgement or his final message was that Muslims should coexist with other religions. They should coexist with other religions. They should live with Christians without no troubles or wars. So I don't understand where this ideology is coming from of maybe religious cleansing in Nigeria. I don't understand where this is coming from. Because if we go with the doctrine of Islam, which is from the Quran or from the Sunnah and Hadith, we find Prophet Muhammad's final message, which is peaceful coexistence with Christians. We find his message, living in peace with others. I know we might have some people who might not be able to portray the Quranic doctrine rightly, and wants to also decide to uphold the early stage of the Islamic doctrine or the wars that happened in Islam in the first place, the conquest that happened in the first place. Maybe people still want to continuously practice that, which are some of the people who do not understand the Quran properly, who are not well schooled when it comes to the Quran. Do you understand that? So I believe religion is one thing that has brought division. It has brought divide. It has brought divide to Africa. It has brought divide amongst the Africans. A case study in Nigeria, to be precise now. We all can see what is going on in Nigeria. It is religion that has brought divides. It is our ethnic differences that has brought divides. We have forgotten that we are first humans. We forgot that we are first humans before any other religion, before tribes. We are first humans before tribes, before any other religion. What should be most important for us right now is that how we can be able to build Nigeria, how can we be able to build Africa. That should be one of the core things we should be thinking. Now, take for example the Europeans. USA is majorly practice, Christian faith. You see Israel, Christian nation. USA, Christian nation. These two nations are well equipped when it comes to infrastructural development. They have built themselves. They have built their nation. When it comes to technology, they have built themselves. When it comes to fighter jets, they have equipped themselves. They brought Christianity to Africa, but they have developed this far. Now take a look to Saudi Arabia. They brought Islam to Africa. They have developed this far. Infrastructurally, they have developed. When it comes to technology, they have developed. When it comes to, what have you, world jet or whatever, I don't know, they have developed also. But now the Africans where they came to, where they brought these religions to, we are still lacking. We are still very behind. We are still in the dark age, fighting over religion, fighting over whose religion is the best, or whose religion should emancipate the other, whose religion should lead the other, which is very wrong. As an African, I believe our core goals and our core values right now should be how we can be able to grow Nigeria, how we can be able to grow ourselves as Africa, how we can be able to meet up globally, how our continent as an Africa continent can be able to meet up with world continent, meet up with other continents, how we can develop our raw materials, how we can start producing, how we can start manufacturing. Do you understand? How we can start channeling our skills into production. We have a whole lot of great thinkers in Africa today who, if given the chance, and if putting in the right equipment and the right factories, the right channels, can be able to start producing planes. We can be able to start producing our own cars. It was said, I think in 1940s, that Africa never produced a wheel, that Africans never owned a wheel, which means we were not able to produce engines for cars. Do you understand? We are not able to produce something that moves. Do you understand? So as an African, what we should be thinking is how we can be able to develop ourselves. So we have the raw materials here. How can we grow our nation? How can we grow our continent? This should be our core values and goals. This should be our core values and goals. The people who brought these religions to us, they are developed countries. They have developed in infrastructure. They have developed when it comes to technology. They have developed in all spheres of life. Then we that they brought these religions to, the only side of the doctrines we've taken from the Bible is pay tithe, sow seed, pray, and hope on God, long suffering. Then for the Quran, the only side they have taken from the Quran is the early fight, or rather early conquest of Prophet Muhammad against the Quraysh family. That is what the Muslims have taken from the Quran. We've only picked out the negative side from these doctrines and not practicing the most important part that we should be practicing, which is developing the society, growing nations, becoming intellectual people who are, who have mindset and the intellect of going into technology, science, building stuff, manufacturing, producing. We've left that side. Religion, in fact, I do not call it religion. Due to my studies, I tend not to call it religion anymore. I tend to call it spirituality, because these people encountered a God. They encountered God, which they term Prophet Allah and God in heaven. Do you understand? So it is spirituality. It was meant to build us. It was meant to build better our lives, to build the society. It was meant to connect to a higher power, thereby giving us wisdom, the knowledge to be able to build things, to convert things mechanically, to get into technology, to take over the world in a positive way, not in a negative way. Do you understand? This spirituality of religion, to say, was founded for our own good, for us to be able to connect to ideas, to supreme ideas. Do you understand? To ideas that will then flourish us, that will then make the world, the earth, a better place. With our ideas, we can be able to build things, channel the waterways, create water transportation, which is build ships that can be able to take us across the seas, build cars that can be able to help us in our transportation, in our movement. Then build things, technology and all of that, new infrastructures that could help in human development. This is what spirituality, coined as religion, is meant to do in our lives. It's not to bring divides. It's not to bring wars against us. It's not to bring whatever amongst us. So spirituality coined as religion is one of the things that was made available for us to be able to connect to a maker, who then in turn gives us ideas, who then in turn gives us wisdom, knowledge, intellect to be able to build things. Do you understand? To form things out of nothing, to build aircraft from parts. Do you understand? To build cars from parts. We have these natural resources here in Africa, which we can, use for our own good, for our own importance. So I don't know where the unnecessary, misplaced priority is coming from. Those people who brought this religion to us are developed today. They have grown. They are civilized. They have mad infrastructures. They have amazing infrastructures. They have world class, fighter jets. They have world class buildings, technology, and all of that. But we, the Africans who have embraced these religions, are not yet developed. We've forgotten ourselves, started thinking about religion. We forgot that the first thing that we should be thinking of, or the one, should be ourselves, humanity first. We should think of humanity, think how we can coexist, how we can better ourselves, how we can better the globe we live in, the continent we live in, the nation we live in. That should be one of our core values and goals in life. Not to bring division, not to bring wars. Do you understand? So I don't know how or when we'll get to this stage in Africa. I don't know. Look at Sudan today. Sudan is displeased. There's a whole lot of issues going on there. It is quite unfortunate that the African leaders they have decided to not pay attention to humanity. They have decided to not pay attention to the common goal. Instead, they have brought division. Rather, religion has brought division amongst everyone. Religion has brought division. Greed has crept in. Do you understand? We no longer care. How long will we continue? Will we continue gathering up wealth? How long will we continue gathering up money for our own personal gains, if not helping the less privileged, if not building the nations, if not developing ourselves, if not improving in our healthcare, improving our technology, improving our production, in our manufacturing? One thing, like I said in my previous video, is one thing that grow a nation. The secret to nation prosperity is division of labor. Everyone must be on ground working for the good of any nation. That is what prospers a nation. That is what makes a nation becomes great. Division of labor. So our African leaders should start thinking of how we can, start using our wealth, start using our raw materials to develop the African continent. That should be our goal. That should be our aim. That should be our focus. Let's start thinking for the betterment of us as humans, as Africans. That is my plea today, and that is my advocacy. How can we be able to start utilizing our natural resources, our raw materials, to say in our own betterment, in our own development, in our own civilization? How can we begin to use our raw materials in our own growth, in our own manufacturing? At least we once had a tester in Kano, Nigeria, that was producing cotton. We are having like a year, we are having £1 million revenue in Nigeria as at then in 19th century. So these are the importance. At least we were once a producing country in Africa. Other countries in Africa also were once a producing country. So we should go back to production. We should go back to empowering our youth, those who are quite, good with technology, those who can be able to build something out of nothing, those who can be able to use raw materials to birth an idea. We should start investing in them. We should start creating these channels, mediums, building these factories for the betterment of our nation. Thank you very much for listening.